do this all the time. Every live stream. I do it all damn time. Okay. How you doing, ladies and gentlemen? Happy Tuesday. Yeah, today I got an unusually scratchy throat. You know what it is? Alexa, what's the current temperature?
Right now, it's 60 degrees Fahrenheit.
You heard that. 60 degrees. After we just had 12 to 14 inches of snow this time last week. Imagine? Or 2 weeks ago now. Holy cow. As Phil Rizzuto would say. Holy cow! Hope you folks are doing good. I know I am. I had a bit of a rough night trying to sleep last night. It wasn't that bad. It's actually getting a little bit better and a little bit better and a little bit better. Let me just share this where it needs to go quickly. Sorry about that, folks. Well, again, I hope all you folks are doing well. I know I am. At least I try to. I know I probably look like I come from the Australia outback or a rock and roll cowboy or something like that today. They've been having little... No, I'm not answering that. Fuck that. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. You know, it's not really fucking cool when you give certain people enough chances to prove themselves to you. And believe me, I've been very forgiving these days, man. Eventually you have to put your foot down and say enough is enough. And we're not going to get into negativity. At least we're going to try not to. So I got a lot of orders to fulfill. Thank you to my wonderful and incredible eBay customers once again. Much, much appreciated. I have quite a few orders to fill out, as a matter of fact. Very early this morning, I actually did another drop of sports cards over at my eBay store, which, by the way, shameless eBay. The link is in the description box of this live stream. It's also in every description box of every video and short that I upload here on YouTube. And again, thank you to those customers that have been picking up my sports cards. Do me a favor, folks, if you're new to the channel, hit that thumbs up button. And of course, subscribe. It really, really helps the channel to grow. Shameless eBeg is over. But definitely hit that like button and subscribe, folks. It really helps. And again, check out my eBay store. I really, really appreciate that. For everybody who has, thank you for picking up more of my sports cards. I've been kind of putting off this particular order for a couple days, which is this right here. I don't want to dox my customers, but that's the itinerary for 8 cards that I need to pack and get out today. Plus I had one random order, and again, I want to cover up my customer's name there. I had one random order come in yesterday, and then today I got 2 of them. So it was a pretty nice nice couple days I had on eBay. And then today I dropped another handful of cards for sale. And put some offer, well, actually I had watchers that I sent offers to, waiting to see if they bite. But we'll see what happens, ladies and gentlemen. The sky's the limit. Anything's possible, folks. It's a possibility. But yeah, if you see I'm looking like a leather cowboy here, it's because, and much credit to the girls in the leasing office for what they're doing. Yesterday, well, we all got an email here on the property that, they wanted to do like a sporting type thing yesterday, which they did do. Everybody was wearing jerseys and stuff. So I went in there with my Mike Piazza jersey. It wasn't the jersey that I wore for that post office rant video that I did last night, which I'm still pretty pissed at, by the way. But yeah, everybody was wearing jerseys and stuff. I made 2 trips in there and brought in a couple batting helmets to show off and some jerseys. I had my Mike Piazza 9/11 jersey on. I actually brought my ID card, which is sitting over there by my dad's photograph. When I was working over at the new Yankee Stadium in 2008. Which I believe was the final season of the old Yankee Stadium. But anyway, shameless e-beg, folks. If you're new to the channel, don't forget, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Check out my eBay store. The link is in the description box of every video live stream. In short, you click on that link, takes you right to my eBay store if you're into sports cards and things like that. Right now, I'm actually preparing actually quite a few orders that I got. And again, early this morning, I did list some pretty decent cards for everybody to pick and choose from. I did send out a couple offers to a couple customers. But, again, across the board, thank you, everybody. But, like I said, they had they sent out an email to us that they wanted to try to do something for the tenants all week. It is Valentine's Day week. And they're trying to, I give them a lot of credit, man. They are trying to get everybody to have a little fun, have a good time, and get together and all that kind of stuff. It's unfortunate because most of the people that live on the property, with, of course, yours truly and several others being an exception, I'm officially retired from union construction after all these years. So the stuff I do with my sports cards, that's my side hustle. You know what I mean? As long as everything's legit and by the book, it's my side hustle. But, most people here are all blue-collar, working-class people, and you got a lot of kids in school right now around this time, which is a few minutes after 12 noon. So, it's still a little early yet. But, where's that second envelope? Oh, right here. Okay, so it's 2 orders fulfilled for my customers. But, at least they're trying, man. I give credit where credit is due. This is not me bashing anybody or implying anything bad. I'm just saying that, you got a lot of older folks that are here, frankly, they're retired or on permanent disability or some other thing. It'd be nice for them to keep themselves busy on their own, like what I do. I have something to do every day. I give myself things to do every single day. Obviously, the sports card thing is a big one. But, a lot of people, they really need to find their center and do things for themselves, and have a hobby or something. I mean, this whole channel, basically, minus the rants and the live streams once in a while that I do here, you got to keep busy, man. You got to keep busy. You got to do something on your own. You can't depend on other people to make your fun for you. You got to make your own fun. So that's my supplements for the day, folks. Cheers, everybody. I wish that was a shot of the good stuff, but my health comes first. So that's all this is the reconfigured regiment that I take now with the P5P, with the natural B6. We got benfotiamine with fat soluble, well, actually, that's what fat soluble B1 with R-alpha lipoic acid. There's astaxanthin in there. There's aspirin in there. There's algae-based EPA and DHA in there. So, cheers. Ice cold sugar-free Red Bull, of course. The unofficial drink of the channel. One more. That big EPA And DHA supplement, man, that thing is huge. It's huge. Hey, but that's how I stay young, man. Ladies and gentlemen, that's how I stay young. You got to give the body what it needs. You know, you can't just, well, wink, wink, hint, hint, like certain people. You can't hop on your bike and start drinking from 8, 9 o'clock in the morning all the way until 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It's not a good look, first and foremost. And second off, I care too much about myself. I have too much self-esteem for myself to go out and do that sort of shit, especially at this time. You know, I can understand if it was like the World Cup or, you know, the holidays or, you know, a celebration or something like that, or a family gathering or what have you. But, yeah, you wouldn't catch me going out there drinking beer and doing dumb shit. I don't smoke cigarettes. I don't smoke weed. I don't do any of that stuff. So. And it was something I was telling the big boss lady in the office there yesterday. Listen, when you put out an email like what was sent to all of us about doing things like this, what I'm wearing, I mean, I would normally wear this kind of stuff anyway on any given day. I really don't give a shit, you know what I mean? I've always had odd fashion choices throughout the years anyway. I mean, a lot of it has changed, but, you know, now it's a little bit more grown up kind of thing, you know what I mean? But I still like to have fun. You know, you can't be wearing baseball jerseys and soccer jerseys and sports gear all the time. You got to mix it up once in a while, man. You got to look good, especially as a man. And the ladies, women catch on to that thing real quick. You know, when you get yourself all fixed up as a man, you know, like, you know, I don't mind wearing button-up shirts and stuff like that every once in a while. So, and it's nice because I even need to stretch out. You know, I don't do bars and restaurants anymore. I might go to Empire Pizza around the corner. I might do Outback Steakhouse. I may hit up a random watering spot outside of town because the places around here, you know, as good as they are, you always got troublemakers in a lot of them. Like, look what happened, you know, during the holidays when I went to that one place that's right here in town, and I was talking to that woman. And she got her, man, and she looked good. She smelled so good, too. Oh, man, did she look good, boy. I'm talking Cadillac status. But she was so freaking stewed out of her mind. She was wearing leather pants like I'm wearing, you know, with the skin tight ones. And she got herself so drunk, she slipped and fell out of her chair and started arguing with people, and they ended up throwing her out because she couldn't handle her booze. You know what I mean? It's like, damn. I mean, I don't like bars anymore. The bar scene for me has been dead a long time ago. It's just people can't control themselves, and then it gets political, and then somebody says something dumb. Or let's just say if I'm sitting there and I see this hot, sexy, beautiful, gorgeous woman and we hit it off, you're going to have some bar rat that's there that's going to be offended or insulted that she's talking to me and not him. You know, that sort of thing. And I can't stand that type of shit. It's not for me. Not for me. I'd rather just not bother. So, what we got here? We have a Grayson Rodriguez Gold Wave out of 50. And I actually reorganized a little bit. I got this box done over here and cut out these little cardboard slices very similar to like what I use in my envelopes, so that this way I can kind of shrink down my desk or my table space here a little bit, and it just looks a lot neater, and I can noodle through it. The only thing I really got to do is just label the individual parallels and inserts and all that kind of stuff, which I can do in my own time. But yeah, I took the time to do some of that yesterday, as a matter of fact. But let's see, who we got here again? Grayson Rodriguez Gold Wave. So I'll go check it out a little later. It's still too early yet. It's still too early yet. But it's gorgeous outside. 60 degrees, folks. 60 degrees. But I was watching, and speaking of the sports card hobby, Western New York Cards. Shout out to him. I haven't commented on his videos in a while. That's because I haven't been doing rips or breaks or anything like that. or going through wax like I did around this time last year, but he made a very good video that I think all of you should go watch. Western New York Cards is the name of the channel. And essentially voiced his concerns about everything that many of us have been talking about, why I stopped buying wax. I mean, at this point, with all the sports cards I've been selling, I mean, one can arguably say that at this point, I could be, one can say or ask, am I liquidating my sports card collection? In a lot of ways, I am, because this hobby sucks. And everything that he's talked about in that video and everything that people like me have complained about and others have complained about, the breakers are getting all the allocation. It's too expensive. With Topps Chrome that just came out recently, Topps Chrome Sapphire, I tried to get a box, couldn't do it. Money was put right back in my account again. So how can you get product? How can you get product? Because everything's allocated to the breakers. And I'm not paying a breaker for a team or an individual player. I'm not doing that shit. I got 2 hands. I got 2 eyes, thank God. I'm capable of opening up my own product. I should not have to pay somebody else to do that. Now, as a collector, I'm going to pick and choose which cards I want from boxes and wax that I open, and then sell off the rest and put it right back into the hobby and bills and food. And, enough is enough, man. And he's got a little bit more civility to him when he speaks. Me, I have a foul mouth. You all know that if you've been watching the channel even lightly. But he made some good points. He was a little bit more professional about talking about this issue with the high price of cards and not being able to buy wax on your own if you're just a hobbyist or, a collector's channel like this one. It's just out of whack. The scales are tipped. They don't want the little guy opening up wax. They want you to go through them. And fuck that. You shouldn't have to. I mean, again, I'm not as, not as kind with my words as Western New York Cards is, but he made some good points in that video. That I agree with probably 100% of everything that he has said. He's a collector first, reseller next. He probably keeps what he wants and then sells it off and then rolls it back into the hobby. And he probably uses his own money like I've done on the channel. You know what I mean? With the stuff that you see here on the channel, it's a mixture of my own money and the money I make from my eBay sales, like those Bayern Munich jerseys I talked about in my live stream yesterday, and the German national team jersey that I just bought, that finally arrived late, by the way, which I did that rant video yesterday or last night. What the hell is this? Topps Chrome Platinum Anniversary. I'm probably not paying attention to what I'm doing here. I'm talking to you folks. It's a Platinum Anniversary. That should be easy to pick out from 2023. Dopey. And you know what it is? I printed out the shipping itinerary in black and white, which I should really have, in hindsight, printed them out in color so I can differentiate a lot easier. But no. Anyway, shameless e-bag, folks. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. I promise you I will start doing review videos again. I actually uploaded 2 videos yesterday. One was a review of that Germanic Viking axe thing. And I talked about the issues with the post office because, I'm getting assholes going to my eBay store and not being very grown up about the fact that apparently they didn't realize we had coast-to-coast snowstorms and power outages and things like that, and they want things yesterday, and that's not how the world works. You just kind of have to wait for a little bit. 2 of my customers I messaged, and they're cool customers, and they are waiting, and all that kind of stuff. I showed them what I see on my end as best I can. You ladies and gentlemen know that. Even that's why I do live streams like this. To be as open as I can, that you can actually see what goes on when I'm, taking care of my customers' orders and stuff like that. It's never a perfect process. Nothing is, there it is, crazy. Okay. Nothing is perfect. No one is perfect. But, you know, unfortunately, you got people out there that, you know, will try to make a fuss to try to convince eBay that they didn't get their orders or anything. And the order does show up, but the itinerary shows that it was shipped and that it was delivered, and they're trying to get a free card for nothing. But I'm past that sort of thing at this point. So who's the customer's name here? Okay, again, I don't want to dox my customers. So I've already got the shipping labels pre-cut here. I just want to make sure I get the names correct. Okay. So, but yeah, Western New York made some really good points in his video today. I give, you know, he's a good content creator. I have fun watching his rips and stuff like that. I would love to do more rips. I mean, at least in my neck of the woods, I know that there's still tons of wax that I could still pick up right now, but it's just that the hobby sucks. The hobby sucks. The hobby's gotten worse and worse and worse. And it's a shame because, you know, I got back into the hobby around the same time that I started this LLC. And it's gone from me offloading cards that I'm just not interested in or want to collect to pretty much almost exclusively liquidating whatever cards I have. And I have a lot. So, with the exception of my father's vintage, those are not going anywhere. Those are staying in the family one way or the other. But everything else at this point, that's why I sold off all them slabs like I did recently. I'm actually considering selling off that Barry Bonds auto that I pulled. That's next on my hit list. I mean, my most recent eBay sales have done very well, so it really doesn't merit me offering that card for sale. But I have got questions about it. If I was willing to sell it, what would I sell it for? Being that it's an SGC 10 8.5, I would probably, and it's also a base auto, I probably would sell it for like anywhere between $1,000 to $1,200 as is. That would be my asking price. Because there are some that are up on eBay right now that are raw, going for, I think, $1,400 or some insane number like that. A couple of them are, I think one of them is a parallel. I think one of them is a red out of 5, I believe. And I think there's another one that's slabbed up there that I saw the other day. I think there's only one base PSA 10 out there that was sold. But if you actually look at the listings for anybody that has one, almost every single one that I've ever seen has been completely off center in some form or another. They're very hard to grade, those autos. So, what am I missing here? Where's the up? No. Where's my big boy marker? What happened to that big Sharpie marker I like using? The Trump marker, I call it. It's the same make and model, as same marker that Orange Man uses to sign his executive orders. Oh, I did find finally the suede eraser for my sneakers. I've got to put that in my sneaker box. But I don't know what I did with that Fat Magic marker. I mean, I bought a whole box of them from Staples anyway, because I like those markers. Oh, here it is, hiding in a corner. These are really good. Really, really good. If you have a sports card business and you got to check things off and whatnot, and this thing lasts forever, and I bought a whole box of them over at Office Depot or Staples or whatever that is around the corner. What do we got next here? Kodai Senga. That should be right up front here. I think I just saw that. Let me see here. But yeah, I appreciate all the auctions, folks. I still have a lot of auctions going on. People have been making bids on them. I'm glad many of you took advantage of that while I was doing it. A lot of them cards, once again, I didn't, you know, I'm appreciative. Don't misinterpret what I'm saying. You know, I wish I would have got a little bit more for those cards, but listen, hey, you know, I get it. with the state of affairs with the weather and everything else like that. I did that for a reason. So I'm glad many of you took advantage of that and are still taking advantage of the ones that are up for auction right now. So, no hard feelings, no harm, no foul, or anything like that. Because some of those cards are like $15 to $20 cards, and I think a couple of them only got half of what they're valued for. But again, it was done for a reason, and I'm glad many of you took advantage of it, which is cool. And the whole point was to help you spend as little money as possible. But it's back to business again. But there are still a lot of auctions going on right now, as a matter of fact. So, and depending on how things go, I might do that more often than not. And I still have a lot of those Mitchell and Ness cards, ladies and gentlemen. There are lots of those Mitchell and Ness cards that I still yet to list again, But there it is, Kodai Senga. Okay. But thank you, everybody, for joining me while I am processing this latest batch of eBay orders. I've got 4 of them so far, and I think I have another 7 to go. Much appreciated. Thanks for keeping me company, everybody. Thank you very much. I haven't had breakfast yet. So, cheers. Again, sugar-free Red Bull, the unofficial drink of the channel. Thank you very much. If you're new to the channel, hit that thumbs up button, hit that like button, and subscribe to the channel. Also, check out my eBay store. The link is below in the description box. It will take you right to my eBay shop, where I still have a lot of sports cards up for auction. I did list some buy it nows. There's some heavy hitters. Well, not really heavy hitters, but I want to say like mid-range cards that are like $20 and more that I listed as buy it nows. I had 2 orders, customers that scooped up 2 of them immediately as soon as I listed them. I got some really good sports card customers, man. I really do. And it's you folks that I thank. If you watched that rant video I made yesterday, obviously that's not directed towards my regular customer base. It's just some people are unrealistic. They think I have a fucking transporter beam like in Star Trek right here, where I can just transport cards the same day. It doesn't work like that. But some people with their nasty attitudes and their nasty language and some of their messages, you got to walk away sometimes. Pick and choose your battles, walk away, block them, stop them from participating in your auctions and your sales. Excuse me. This is my castle and I am the king. And I have every right not to sell things to people if I so choose, especially if you have a nasty attitude. The 2 customers I am in contact with whose cards are in the ether somewhere, I appreciate you 2 with your professionalism and being more grown up about it. And, I'm positive that they are viewers of the channel and are aware of the playlist that I have with all the nonsense that's been going on with the shipping delays and theft. Like here in North Carolina last year, there was a news report, 75,000 packages or envelopes or of that ilk were hanging in the ether, and people weren't getting their deliveries. It was just stuck without rhyme or reason. Well, we kind of know why. It's because Trump was threatening the post office to federalize it. So it was what we call a silent protest. And I think that's the main reason why they did that. And I still believe that's intentional. But then right over here in the next town over in Ballantyne, they got busted for check washing. In my former home of New York, someone got caught stealing gift cards. You know what I mean? So, it sucks. And being a small business owner, man, that can really, really, really jeopardize your business. I'm not here to make $1 million, but it's like, God, my face is itchy. You know what it is? I used the old school Dial soap on my face. My face is like, That stuff really dries your face out. Another little secret of the trade here, ladies and gentlemen, I like to keep a little tub of hand cream. Sometimes, you know, when you're handling envelopes and all that kind of stuff, your hands tend to get dry. Like you get those weird splits in your fingers and in your hands and stuff. You get like weird, mysterious paper cuts that you can't figure out how you got them in the first place. And that's kind of what happens. But this is only because I use that Dial soap on my face. That shit really dries your face up. Something awful. So, there we go. A little bit better. I can feel it stinging. So, that should help. Yeah, I always keep eye drops, lip balm, hand cream, or hand lotion. What we got here? Brenton Doyle. So, yeah, anything to make my life a lot more comfortable. Let me kill the heater. It's supposed to be like 60 degrees. Or at least kill the temperature here a little bit. Because I got that door wide open and I could feel there's a nice burst of air coming through my door here. Well, I can catch you up with some things behind the scenes. Unfortunately, me and this girl are just not working out. So it's going to be a pretty lonely Valentine's Day this year, unlike last year. But so is life. Oh, that was quick. That's right up on top. Okay, that's the same one, purple speckle. Okay. So it's just, she keeps saying, I'm working, I'm working, I'm working. How much does a fucking woman work? We've seen each other only a handful of times. She's been here to my apartment twice, maybe 3 times. And I get the distinct feeling that she's trying to turn me into a plan B. And that shit, that's not happening, man. No way. I'm nobody's plan B. It's either me or nothing. And I got no time. You know what it is? The older I get, the more, or I should say, the less I give a shit about certain things. I know the other night in my live stream with the Super Bowl halftime show thing that I did here on the channel, in effect, like I really, honestly, I don't even give a shit about that. The halftime show that Turning Point USA did was, it was good. It wasn't, I mean, I'm not going to lie, it wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be. They had technical issues. Listen, anybody that's bitching that Kid Rock and all these people were lip syncing, listen, all of them lip sync. Even your precious Bad Bunny will lip sync on stage. Michael Jackson did it. Madonna does it. All of these people do it because you have to save your throat. Unless you're a fucking heavy metal band, that's done intentionally to save their voice. And it's part of the production and all that kind of stuff. You know, with certain dance moves and things like that. Michael Jackson could never sing and dance with certain things at the same time. So he would lip sync. But people just, you know, I thought it was okay for what it was. It was okay. It was much better than that Bad Bunny shit. I watched all of 10 seconds of it and I immediately turned the video off on YouTube. I couldn't stand it anymore. You know, and it's a real shame. Let me just give you a little perspective about what I think about all of that, all right? I love my Latinos, man. You know, I grew up in New York. I grew up around mostly Polish, Irish, German, that sort of ilk. But we had a lot of Colombian, a lot of Dominican people, a lot of Mexicanos, a lot of Ecuadorianos, that sort of thing. Maybe a few Cubanos here and there. And I learned quite a bit about Hispanic culture. I really did. But there's a difference between those who have naturalized, who went through the system, like my ancestors did at the time when they came over here from Europe, from Germany. They went through the system that was in place at that time. We're talking over a century, maybe 2 centuries ago, you know, after the formation of this beautiful republic of ours. So we had to go through the system that was in place at that time. And most Trump-supporting Latinos will tell you it's not fair to them because, let me tell you, my daughter's godfather was born in Poland. and became a citizen, went through the whole process. It cost him thousands of dollars and many years and attorney fees and all that kind of shit just to have the honor of being one of us. And it's not fair to him and people like him that have gone through this system, that have paid all of these fees and lawyers and whatnot. And they say the same thing. What's your excuse? You can't just walk it. Nobody's well, first off, I got the law on my side, 14-52.1, .2, and .3, the stand your ground law. You can't just walk into my home whenever you feel like it, uninvited. If I interpret you as an intruder, I have the right to use lethal force. That's North Carolina law, according to General Assembly, North Carolina, 14-52, .1, .2, and .3, which is an extension of the Second Amendment here in North Carolina. You can't just fucking waltz in here and make commands and demands of me and eating out of my fucking refrigerator and just doing whatever you feel like, and then taking down all my collectibles to put your shit up on a wall, for example. You can't do that. It's not how it works, folks. Assimilate. I'm the only one that celebrates the traditional Oktoberfest in my family. At least to my knowledge, I'm the only one that celebrates the traditional Germanic Oktoberfest. And I'm the only one that wears Germanic Viking symbology around my neck. You know what I mean? Even though my father's headstone has the Orthodox Christian crucifix, which was because of my mom and her beliefs, which she has that right to engage in her beliefs. My dad did that for her. God bless him. That his stubborn ass actually, did something that my mom appreciated, was baptized in her faith, in her religion. I'm not a practicing pagan, but that doesn't mean I can't honor my roots. You know what I mean? Here's the crucifix that my buddy Wolf gave me, who was a Native American. But I'm diehard red, white, and blue American. I'll never say I'm a German American. I'm an American German. It works in reverse. American first, Germanic in my roots second. My family assimilated. My grandfather fought for this country in World War II against our people. The true Nazis. My granddad fought for this country very, very proudly. And I'm happy to have that in my family's history. But these people don't want to assimilate. They want their country minus the drug dealing, the prostitution, the gang warfare, the cartels, true political fascists, like what happened in Venezuela with Maduro. You really think North Koreans choose to live the way they live? Of course not. What am I looking for here? Yeah, I need vintage stock. Oh, okay. It's ridiculous. I have no problem with Bad Bunny and his background, being proud to be Hispanic. I've got no problem with that. I don't like the cross-dressing shit. And our primary language in this country is English. You have every right to honor your traditions and your values and your heritage. That's why we have St. Patrick's Day, which is coming up right around the corner. That's why we have Oktoberfest, from the end of September to the beginning of October. That's why we have Columbus Day. That's why we have these holidays to celebrate what makes America beautiful. It's a conglomeration of all of these different cultures and languages and foods. And no one culture has the fucking power over another. Which a lot of these people don't seem to understand, because a lot of them operate from fear. Leftists, let me tell you about something, a little dirty little secret about leftists, like the Black Lives Matter crew and the Antifa crew. I yet for any one of them to take a photograph or a video of a brick building, a red brick building with a pizza oven in it, cooking human beings on a barbecue rack. Until they can prove hardcore evidence that we have that today, especially you rainbow folks out there, you've got nothing to say, because they don't exist. Big red brick buildings that are cooking rainbow people don't exist in this country. It's bullshit. And if there were real Nazis in this country, you wouldn't be alive to even describe them as to how violent they were. If my grandfather was alive, he could tell you personally. And he fought against the Germans, my people, for this country. Facts. But they don't want to hear that part of it because, you know, truth to them triggers them. None of them like to hear the truth. That's why DEI exists, because a lot of them, you know, they want the trophy to win the race. They're just not willing to run the race. They're not willing to lose the weight and get physically fit. They just want the trophy. They want the prize. They want the check. That's why a lot of them don't want to work. That's why they want food stamps and all that shit. I got off of food stamps doing this. I could take full advantage. Like, for example, you know, with the post-traumatic stress and, you know, the other stuff that I've had to prove in a court of law with the issues that I suffer with, you know, PTSD and insomnia and everything else I've had to deal with health-wise over the years. I can get a handicap placard for my car right now if I want to through the DMV. I don't. You know, at least I can get up on my 2 feet. I can walk. I can shop for my own groceries. Obviously, I'm up there. You know, unless there's an episode of PTSD, which there really hasn't been one in a long time. Well, at least up until last year with all the bullshit I went through with my dad and, you know, what that woman did to me, being here illegally like she is or was or whatever the fuck. I choose not to have a handicap placard for my car. Why should I? Save it for somebody that's way worse than I am. And that's what I do. I could have got that through the I can still get it from the DMV anytime. But I don't, because why? For me, it's taking it for granted. For me, it's meant for somebody that's way worse than I am. And that's my logic. But unfortunately, that's me. Not everybody thinks like the way I do. And I can't make people think like I do, but unfortunately, everybody bases their rhetoric off of emotions. I knew my health was getting worse when I gained all that weight from the prednisone, the Advair, the Qvar, the steroids, the inhalers, the antibiotics, the painkillers, which were screwing with my brain's chemistry. All that kind of shit, man. Advair, Qvar, prednisone, even a quetiapine that I take for my insomnia could potentially do damage to my brain. That's just me. I can't make people think like me, and I'm not going to try. Trying to make people think like you is, by definition, fascism. But unfortunately, we have an entire culture of people out there on both sides of the fence that are trying to tell each other what to go do with them fucking selves. I'd rather sit here, work on my baseball cards, and dress up like a cowboy. You know what I mean? I've earned that right. I worked hard to get to this point, and I can basically do whatever the fuck I want and not be beholden to anyone. And there are people that don't like that because they weren't willing to sacrifice. Let me tell you, I lost a fruitful career in union construction from doing something that, well, quite frankly, nobody gives a shit about anymore unless 9/11 comes around every once a year. Then all of a sudden everybody seems to care. Austin Riley. Noelle V. Marte. Oh, I have it right in my hand. I'm an idiot. Not paying attention. I gotta get used to that squeaking. It's actually a cool sound, by the way. And there are a lot of ladies that like this kind of stuff out there, too. One thing I will say about the woman I was dating, or the two or three women I dated, really got a kick out of it. One of them was kind of like resistant. The other two were like, I'm sorry. For me, there's nothing like a sexy, hot woman in leather, man. Just saying it. And it's different, you know, and to me it shows that they are that they want to be a standout. They want to stand out in a crowd. There's just something about it that's like, ugh, to me. That's that rock and roll in my brain. At heart, I'm still a semi-80s rock, or even 70s rock, 90s metal guy. Even though lately I've, appreciated more country music and stuff like that over the years since I moved down here to Charlotte. So I think my friend is outside. I see her granddaughter running around. Wonder if if you're watching this live stream, just put a yes in the chat. I think she's busy playing with her granddaughter over there. I can see right through my window. All the way to the other side of the property. Yeah, that's my friend's granddaughter. So she's probably running around having a good time. Good for her. It's nice outside. I really don't want to be inside today. Once I get these out, I'm going to get myself my usual case of Red Bulls. I moved some money around today, so put some money where I needed it the most. I got a couple bills I have to pay before the end of this week. Get that out of the way, and then I got to get my annual renter's insurance to the office soon. That's going to be another thing for me to take care of. And then the fucking tax papers are starting to come in. And North Carolina's been really aggressive this year. Every single day I've been getting notices for my LLC. But, you got to be careful with stuff like that because there are a lot of scams. Like everything that I do through my LLC is through LegalZoom. So if LegalZoom doesn't send me anything, most likely it's probably a phishing scam of some type. So you got to be careful with things like that. So this is an Austin Riley negative refractor. Yeah, be very careful, folks, because especially with tax season on the horizon, like I got tax forms from my union. I got tax forms from North Carolina that already arrived. I got paperwork from the IRS that's already come. I think in the next week or two, I'll have everything set, and then I got to start crunching the numbers from last year. And if Trump meant what he said, this should be a really good tax return for yours truly, man. I hope. I want to go see my family. I really want to go see my father's headstone. And I want to see my niece and nephew. And I still have stuff I have to send to my sister and my brother-in-law for my nephew because he's starting T-ball next month. I got to get that stuff up to my sister and my brother-in-law. And I want to get some stuff over at Play It Again Sports for my nephew because they got some good used sporting goods there. I'm going to try to get him the best stuff that I can, but it's just much cheaper for me to get it down here versus Austin, really, than up there in New York, where my sister lives. Yep, that's the little squeaker. I hear her running around. Yeah, I can see her from here through the window in my front door. There we go. Salas Verdugo. Austin Riley. Okay, there we go. Got to be careful because some of these cards look alike. Racist, racist, racist. He's saying cards look alike. Racist. His, hers, mom, dad, boy, girl. Trigger, trigger, trigger warning. God. Some of the stuff that I see on YouTube, especially from these congressional hearings, where like you got certain people that are trying to stop others from using definitive terms in the masculine and feminine. I never seen anything like it. Like motherhood or parents. You're not parents, you're caregivers. Fuck you, they're parents. Parents are parents. Sorry if some of you were raised in a single family home, but don't blame the rest of us. Any child raised without their fucking biological parents in their life deserves everything that those kids turn into. Mostly criminals and drug addicts and homeless people. And you have nothing, you have no one else to blame but the person that actually caused that pain and suffering. And usually it's the single mother. It's usually the single mother because they're not satisfied or happy enough with the fucking shit that they have. And they can't control the hormones spewing out of their bearded clam between their legs, as they have to have their fucking excitement no matter what. And they have to be paraded around. And they want a man who doesn't take care of them. They want a man that matches their shoes and their pocketbook and their clothing and their hairstyle. A man's only there for his car and his resources and his bank account. That's why I don't mind being alone for Valentine's Day this year. Like last year, you know, when I was with that woman, you know, we went for the gusto. We got ourselves all fixed up and bought each other Valentine's Day gifts and all that. But, you know, this year, after going what I went through last year, man, I'm very apprehensive. And who can blame me? I think most men are like that these days. Look at all this so far, folks. This is all you. Thank you to my eBay customers, by the way. Huge shout out to my eBay customers. Let me just double check something here. So I got another message from, who is this now? I don't care, I don't care, I don't care who you are. Got nothing to say. This person had their chance. I've given enough chances. I've been merciful for long enough, and it's time for me to start. I made a vow this year. I'm not going to tolerate people's bullshit this year when it comes to my personal life and who I'm surrounded by. No more. I've had way too many people over the years take advantage of me, take me for granted, falsely accuse me of shit, call me brother to my face, and then fucking stab me in the heart. And meanwhile, these are the same people that cheat on their wives, cheat on their girlfriends, they rob, they steal, they fucking lie to your face. They say one thing and then they do something else, and you catch them doing it too. I know a certain Costa Rican man that used to be my friend that I fucking caught. He used to beg me for my house keys or my apartment keys so that he can bang women here in my home. Or even in my old apartment in North Charlotte where I used to live. He used to beg me for my house keys. Actually, the spare keys I got hanging up there are because of him. Because he was looking to cheat on his wife. Used to have me meet him over at all these fucking Hispanic places around here like Mi Tierra or Cosa del Sol or Veracruz. He had a woman in back of his truck when we went to fucking, what was that, Atlanta to get his passport that one time. Everybody who turns their back on me usually are guilty of shit themselves. And they try everything to shut me up to conceal their own sins. Thank God I'm the type that never forgets. Especially since I am in possession of certain paperwork to prove the fact that I helped this particular individual to get his passport and his license. And this individual's lucky ICE hasn't locked him up yet. That I stopped him from trying to cut off his own face with a fucking broken bottle when his mom died. But where the fuck was he when my father died? Fucking lying hypocrite son of a bitch. That's usually how it works. I can't see that because this is on an angle. I should make a bone steak? I should make a steak, period. That's not a bad idea, actually. I haven't made myself a good steak in a while. I got a couple sirloins and New York strips and some ribeyes in my refrigerator. That's not a bad idea. Much appreciated for that comment, by the way. I do have like that outback Australian cowboy look going. Say again, first off, for anybody that's joining me in this live stream, thank you very much for keeping me company while I'm fulfilling my eBay orders. Much, much, much appreciated. It is a gorgeous day here in the free South. Alexa, what's the current temperature?
Right now, it's 64 degrees Fahrenheit.
64. I like those numbers. And imagine we just had like 12 to 14 inches of snow down here recently. All the snow was all but gone. And now it's like the springtime outside. It's amazing. Oh, I can't wait for the weather to warm up. Oh, it's going to be pool season. Huh. And, well, I can't say anything. I have it on good authority from a higher power here. They're going to try something this year. I can't say what that is. It's a unspoken, we'll call it a gentle person's agreement. I hate to use pronouns and shit or gender neutral terms, but this is literally between a man and a woman that we have this agreement, or that I am aware that something is going to change over the course of the summer where I live. I'm not going to say what that is because it's not definitive yet. And if they do follow through with that, I am going to be a happy camper. And that's going to make a lot of people happy. We got a lot of blue collar people that live here. I think that this thing that they're going to do is going to make people happy. I'm not going to say what it is. But for somebody like me, who's more of a night owl than anything, I personally will appreciate it. The only problem is that some of us are going to have to be on our best behavior and keep an eye on the fucking bozos that try to hijack. Because there was a couple. I almost got into a fist fight last year. One of the girls in the leasing office, who I don't think works here anymore. I don't know if this new woman is a temporary replacement or permanent, but there was a young couple that was in the pool. It was on an overcast day, and I was sitting by myself, and this young couple who I've never seen before on the property, one of the girls in the leasing office came out and said, "Hey, Mr. H, do you know them?" I said, "No. I have no idea, but they've been coming here quite often. Do you know them?" I said, "No." So I said, "You might want to question them." Now we have certain apartment numbers and certain building numbers that are here, and clearly the numbers that they gave don't match what's here on the property. So obviously they were trespassing. And then she got loud with me because she was one of these, and I'm going to say this, one of these nasty blonde hair, blue-eyed white girls, southern white girls. Well, it's y'all did that shit to us. Like, meanwhile, this is our pool. You're the trespasser. You don't belong here. So I thought white bourgeois people like you didn't commit fucking break-ins, and she didn't like me saying that to her. But we ran the two of them off the property because they were practically might have kids watching in the pool. You know what I mean? One more, folks, and that's that. I definitely want to take advantage of this weather. Bowman Chrome Rookie of the Year, Junior Caminero Mojo Fractor. So that should be over here. I hope it's over here. Like I started rearranging a lot of my cards. There it is. Boom. Junior Caminero, right? Yes. Oh man, there's no breeze. No cold breeze. I mean, not like a winter cold breeze. I mean, there is a nice cool breeze coming in, but it is because of all this leather stuff I'm wearing today. I do want to pop in there, but it's too early yet. I should bring some refreshments, but again, it's too early. It's too early. I actually want to just say this as a side note. I really appreciate what they're trying to do. When I first lived here, they used to have lunches. They used to have pool parties. They used to have local bands going there. Mostly religious stuff and small time stuff. Oh yeah, they're doing the cowboy thing today. Oh yeah, they're definitely doing the cowgirl thing today. They're all wearing denim. I see the manager and the number 2. So they definitely got the denim going today. Yeah, I might stop in there today. I'll see how I feel. I mean, I am dressed up for it. But I give them a lot of credit, man. These ladies, to their credit, are really breaking their humps compared to certain shit, which I'm not going to discuss. that happened last year. I hate to have to see any of that stuff happen again, and it's not their fault. But you know, I lived here. This is now my second time living on this property, and I know what this place is capable of. You know, I've gotten to know every square inch of this property, and a lot of the people here are very welcoming, very cordial. They just want to laugh and smile and talk and have a good time and just live their lives and not be bothered with drama and headaches and violence and bullshit, you know? And, you know, for these ladies to be doing this week, what they're doing for Valentine's week, I give them a lot of credit. And the maintenance guys are nothing to scoff at either. You know, I was joking around yesterday when I was in there saying, you know, the one maintenance dude, and I'm not going to name drop or anything, you know, you got to give this fellow a raise, man, because he was out there playing in the snow, breaking his ass, you know what I mean? So they work hard here, man. But you got that one or two idiots that are here who don't appreciate what I see out my window, the trees, the birds, you know, the friends that I have here and the neighbors that I know who are good people who don't do stupid shit. Oh, a little side note on that. Speaking of my neighbors, I don't know, she might be watching this. My neighbor that lives directly downstairs from me. Actually, I could show you folks. I'm pretty much done. So let's go take a walk into my bedroom here quick. She never called. Well, I mean, she calls me to say hi once in a while. You know, I'll pick up her boxes from Amazon if they're downstairs by her front door and whatnot. But last night I was trying to fix my shelf with my sneakers and my jerseys because I wanted to raise my jerseys up a little bit higher so they're not sitting so much on the ground, especially for like when I vacuum or I steam clean my carpet. So now they're about a good 12 inches up off of my carpet. And I condensed the space between each one of these rows of sneakers that I got here, especially since I sold off a couple shoes. You know, that space was going to waste, so I figure why not utilize it for something more. And I like the fact that my jerseys aren't sitting on the ground because I don't want to like scrape my shoes on my jerseys and whatnot. So I actually have this, like it's bolted to my wall. That's not coming down. But the problem was, in order for me to do all of this, I had to take a hammer to beat all of these shelves apart so that I can move them up. And then she called me out of nowhere. What happened, Mr. Walter? I hear banging upstairs. Are you okay? I said, yeah, I'm fine. You know, I sent her photos of the shelves here telling her that, you know, I was rearranging my shoe rack and my jersey rack. You know, forgive me for making noise because I never, you know, obviously I'm not here running around, you know, or anything like that doing stupid shit. But yeah, she never calls me, and she's like, "Oh, I hope everything's all right up there." You know, I heard all the banging. I was sleeping, and you know, so I'm like, I apologize. You know, I was fixing my shoe rack there, and you know, she sent me, you know, a couple of messages and all that stuff. But yeah, you know, everybody for the most part, you know, when you got good people around and you're looking out for one another, I appreciate phone calls like that. You know why? Because it goes to show that your neighbors care, you know, because she probably thought I fell down or something like that with the noise that I was making. So, cheers, folks. And thank you to the handful of you that have been watching this live stream. 516 Kicks is live. Who gives a shit? But here are my latest orders ready to go. They'll be out the door today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 orders from my eBay customers. Again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for helping to support a small business and supporting my eBay store. I'm debating whether I should or should not list one of the two of these. I have two of them that I've been sitting on, and I didn't realize these things are still going for a pretty penny. I've comped these. I kind of have an idea what I want to get for them. There are people that are overcharging for these on eBay, so I did comp them through different resources, and those are the Aaron Judge Paw Patrol PP1 cards that I completely forgot I pulled out of packs on camera here on the channel. Now I had a whole bunch of PP2s. I think I still have the I think I have two more PP2 versions of this card in my PC, but I completely forgot that I pulled two of these on camera. I think I've sold, I think I had more than two. I think I sold I think I had 4 of them at one time. And these are the last 2 I have in my PC. Now I have the Aaron Judge Bowman Chrome Refractor in an SGC 10 from 2013. So it wouldn't hurt me to sell these off. But I am sitting on 2 of them, so I might sell them. I might, from what I comped them at, they're anywhere between 85 to 90 bucks raw. I think if you get them in a PSA 10, they're like $200 and something, $300 and something, something like that. I can't remember off the top of my head, but yep, that's my latest batch of orders right there, ladies and gentlemen. And I still haven't had anything to eat. I really should make myself a quick sandwich, or maybe I'll get one of those ready-made sandwiches at Walmart there. But thank you, everybody, for joining in this live stream. I really, really appreciate it. And again, it's like I said in that video that I made yesterday, you know, when you got people that are really trying to get over on an eBay seller, you've got to call it out. You have to call out this nonsense that goes on. You've got to call out the stuff that goes on with the post office. You have to call it out. You have to call it out. So, but anyways, I still have a lot of cards to list. I think I'm down to my last 10 listings. And I try to keep at least 10 slots open, just in case I change my mind about something. And then, of course, I have to pay the 35-cent listing fee after, after 250 listings. So, well, anyway, that's just about it, folks. I'm going to get myself a little bite to eat. I'm going to take a hike to the post office, get those out, get me a case of Red Bull, come back home, and then I'll see what I do if I head on over there. Because like I said, I saw the girls by there with their cowgirl vests on, and here I am, doing all this kind of stuff. So again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for checking out this channel, watching my videos, watching my content. My eBay customers in particular, thank you very much. Go check out my eBay store. The link is in the description box of this live stream shortened videos. Every live stream shortened video that I upload here on YouTube, the link is someplace down there. Thank you to everybody that has been doing so. And that's pretty much it. Don't forget to subscribe. All that good YouTube stuff. I really appreciate it, folks. Thank you so much for joining me this afternoon. I will get these eBay orders out to my customers, and I'm going to make a decision whether or not I part with both of these or I part with one of them. I don't know yet. I'm debating if I'm going to keep the 2 of them, because like I said, in the PSA 10, I mean, again, I comp these for about $85 to $90 each, and a PSA 10 of each one of these is like $200 to $300. But again, I have the Bowman Chrome Aaron Judge refractor in an SGC 10, and that's currently going for like $1,500 to $1,600. So I don't know yet. We'll see. All right, folks, I'm going to get a little food in my stomach first and foremost before I do anything. But thank you all for joining me for this live stream. I greatly, greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. There will be review videos to come. I got to get those Bayern Munich jerseys and that German national team for the World Cup reviewed for the channel, blah, 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 all that good stuff. You can't tell, my stomach is starting to take over. My brain's turning into mush. So, all right, folks, I want you all to have a good afternoon. It looks like it's going to be a gorgeous day, and I really don't want to be indoors today. I'm hoping to spend a lot of my time on my patio or outside or something to that effect. Take care, everybody. God bless. Stay safe. I am your host, the Carolina Collector. I will see you all very soon.